Hi there. Welcome to 50 Questions Friday for September 27th, 2024. Thanks for being here this morning, you guys. And we will just jump into the heart space here this morning and create that wonderful sacred space for us all to just hang out in today. And we create this space together. So here we go, creating our safe, sacred space. So putting your attention to the physical heart, imagining connecting heart to heart with the earth and breathing in that energy, that light of the earth. Breathing that into the heart. Next, connecting with you as creator God, as soul. Breathing in that light of you into the heart. And that third breath is where you bring it both together within you. Both the energy of creation, the energy of earth within the heart, and that expands back out. Awesome. So welcome to the Heart Space and the 50 Questions Friday here. Let's see. We'll do a few announcements first. Right now, we do have a sale going on our silver. So all of our silver is 15% off right now. So we do have that sale going on. Let's see, the healing hands. The healing hands, there's still a sale going on these. And of course, we have that video posted on YouTube from the Healing Hands webinar. And let's see, what else? I know that I told all you guys last week that we would have these copper wands ready. I jumped the gun a little bit. The copper wands are not ready. They'll be ready fairly soon. And yeah, phenomenal. And for now, the release name is going to be the Undercurrent Deactivator. I know it gets a laugh with some people, but that's going to be our introductory name on this wand. But yeah, they're pretty phenomenal. Look for these to come out here. You know, gosh, you never know. They could come out this weekend or maybe by next weekend at the latest. But just keep an eye for this Undercurrent Deactivator coming out because it's a pretty phenomenal piece. Let's see. And what else for what's happening here? Let's see. We're going to do the tool of the week this week is going to be on the elementals. So right after 50 Questions Friday, I will do the invite video for the tool of the week on the elementals. So that might be a good one to check out. Anyway, that invite will be up on YouTube. And again, if you are watching live, thank you for joining live. And if you are watching after the fact, you are welcome to sign up for our newsletters where we send out our invitations to the lives as well as different sales and new products that we have that come out. So please do sign up for our Twistedsage.com newsletter. All right, so we'll just go ahead and jump into questions here. And hey, Mitch, good to see you here this morning. And hey, Connie from Maine. Glad you guys are here. So we'll jump into our first question here. So let's see, we got a few questions here from Steve. Thank you for sending questions in. So let's see. Now, the first question has to do with changing the energetics of the tools because we have during our tool of the week, there was a question that came up that somebody wanted to wear these healing hands and have a larger set to wear, which we don't make these healing hands in a larger set, but we do have, let's see, what is it? A golden fire and a regeneration ring in this heavy gauge. We don't sell those directly on the website, but we can certainly, Steve, we can certainly email and get you a pair of these heavier rings. We use them in our Heka coasters as well as in our activators. Let's see, I believe this one's used in the coasters. And then we have one that's slightly smaller than that that's used in the activator, and this is the healing hands. So we're coming to the question. The reason I'm bringing this up is the question was, you know, can I get a healing hands in that larger size? And basically what I said is that, yes, what I can do instead of making a whole new healing hands, which it really doesn't work in our flow, to create a different size, because these are twisted specifically for this cubit measure, to create the right amount of twists within the ring. So it's tougher to make a larger ring without doing an entire run. So my solution for Mr. Steve, is that we could sit down and we can switch one of these rings to the healing hands. And it's something that we'll have to charge for that, because I'll have to I'll have to sit down with you for a few minutes to switch those energetics over. But basically, so the question today is, if we switch the etheric templates on this tool, will it still carry the energetics as well as the healing hands? Well, yes, just for the simple fact that the healing hands carries all the energetics prior to it. So anytime we build a new tool, it is built upon the energetics that came before it. So anything before the healing hands, those energies would still be in that tool. And I kind of hesitate even bringing this up publicly, because it's not a service that I really want to offer to change the energetics of rings, a lot. It does take, it is totally possible, because these are connected to the etheric templates. We just switch the etheric template connection. But yet, and actually, I'm not going to do this as a service, but you can do this. We have, there was a 50 Questions Friday, I believe recently, where we talked about sitting with your tools, feeling into them, being in that space, and inviting in all the higher potentials of those specific tools to come into what you own. Because even when we update the tools along the way, if you already own this tool, we do an energetic update to it. It's not like this tool necessarily receives those energetic updates completely as we intended. It is between you, your higher self that owns the tool already, and what you receive for the updates to this tool. Because perhaps all these updates, if that's not in your highest and best, if that's not serving you, those updates will not hold in that tool. So really, you sitting with a ring and just sitting with it and inviting in that energetic template of the healing hands, and that will ground that energetic template of the healing hands in there for you. So, that's something that we've talked about, is about to, that you can access all of these etheric templates of the tools. So let's see. So I'm going to get back to the question here on this. And so, yeah, it's something that we can do. It's just that, to me, you could drop the energetics of the healing hands into this larger ring. But to me, it's really the whole purity and the whole 100% of the field is in the ones that we anchor the templates in as we twist the wire and create the tool. So I just really don't feel like this would necessarily hold 100%, because it just really depends on the person and what it is that that is in their highest and best. So I really don't recommend that. I want to have a golden fire, but I have a chalice ring, so I'm going to set this to the golden fire. I would really suggest to get a golden fire ring, because you really are going to get that true 100% purity of the golden fire. And it's not that I'm trying to sell you another golden fire ring. It's just there's variables. There's variables in the anchoring in and holding those energies. Tough question. It really is a tough question. All right, so we're gonna jump on here to another question. Is it possible to purchase those Harmony and Golden Fire with the thicker wires? Yeah, and again, that's something that we can talk about in an email, and because I'm not sure what the prices are or anything of that nature. Will there be another store-wide sale before the Ghostbusters sale? Oh yeah, our annual Ghostbusters sale will be coming up here in October. That's always a fun one. Really don't know for sure. I don't think we have any other sales coming up anytime soon. I think Ghostbusters is our next sale. Is it possible to purchase the 26-inch Alchemist Halo like the one in the full-size Ascension Pyramid? Oh, yes. So the Alchemist Halo, which is the three rings intertwined, it's like our sound healing rings, but it's a triquetra. It's the three rings that can come together as a single ring. They're intertwined. They can expand out into that triquetra. So the Alchemist Halo, yes, that is available underneath of the practitioner rings. What is my favorite grounding tool to wear? Gosh, for the grounding tools, I really like, the coil pendants to me are a good grounding. Usually I'm wearing a wand, and the wands also carry a good grounding. Um, there's the Heka clasps and the grounding. I'm just not. I don't really like wearing the Heka clasps. I kind of like wearing more of the rings. But really, any of the coil pendants and any of the tools that are marketed specifically as grounding, that's what I would suggest. But I do like the coil pendants is my favorite for a grounding. Um, Let's see. And so then a question on the quantum grid points to set those up for emotional and psychological healing. So, and the question is around the quantum grid points, if you can use like 3 or 4, to create your field, your sacred space. So if you put 3 of the quantum grid points around you, that space that is held within those 3 points, it is the same energetic as that you find on the outside of all of our pyramids. So the question was concerning the energetics of the quantum grid point in comparison to the energetics of the Ascension Pyramids. Now, the Ascension Pyramids, the real magic and the potency of that field is truly within the pyramid, because that's where you have all the energy flows. The torus is there right above you. So the field within the Ascension Pyramids is the most potent field. But having the Ascension Pyramids in your home, the field that is on the outside of the pyramids is a beautiful harmonizing field. It still carries that whole remembrance of that ascension grid that these pyramids produce. That field, it is a field of connection, of remembrance, of sacred space. And when you create sacred space, that's clearing out a lot of that debris. Except for that which you really hold on tight to. But so creating that sacred space is really going to be a phenomenal healing space. Yes, when you set those grid points there with the intention of healing the mind and the emotions. So truly, when you are working with the emotions with these fields, you are working with releasing all of that stuff that comes up. So it's being self-aware when something comes up, especially if you are in that safe, sacred space with those pyramids, with those grid points. It's just a breath and a releasing of that. We talk about that on so many of our videos. Check out the Wisdom Ring Tool of the Week, because those specific exercises, practices there are phenomenal for releasing the emotional stuff. Now, for the mental stuff, you guys, I tell you what, using any of these tools, especially any of these newer tools, but they all have the expansive light energetic within them. And if you just sit during the day, and then to answer this question, sit within your quantum grid points within that safe, sacred space, just be present and allow light to flow to the mind. I tell you what, the more, and that's really what we've been doing is like our bangles, our light bangles, our infinities, they are all geared to grounding the mind with the earth. And it's not only the grounding, but it's bringing more light to the mind. And I tell you what, if you can just sit during the day, be in that space of allow that light to flow into the mind, it really starts to shift the way you perceive and function in the world. Um, so yeah, the quantum grid points, especially working with the mind, really is phenomenal. Just sitting in that safe, sacred space and just being. Um, Let's see. How does the 12-inch grounding ring feel in comparison to wearing a single or double grounding Heka clasp? So the 12-inch grounding ring that we have, because it is in that heavier gauge, that is one that is perceived more on the physical, the heavier the gauge. So the 12-inch grounding ring really is a phenomenal ring for grounding. And, you know, it's a very versatile ring. So if you were really looking at grounding, the 12-inch ring is phenomenal. The 23-inch ring is great for grounding. I guess I forgot to mention that. That's one that I have in a lot of places around. The 23-inch grounding ring, just go stand in it, but I always have other rings with it. But it just creates that space to where you can just check in and ground. Now, the 12-inch ring, you can actually bend that to be a collar ring. And if you look at to make a collar ring, we have a video out there on creating the collar ring. And in that one, we use a little bit lighter gauge. It's actually the laptop ring. I don't have one right here, but it's the laptop ring. It's a lighter gauge, and it just shows how you can bend that into a collar ring that fits around. So you can do that with that 12-inch grounding ring. It's heavier gauge, it's tougher to bend, but you can follow that video. It talks about not bending on the weld and things like that. So yeah, wearing that collar ring, the grounding 12-inch, phenomenal for grounding. And yeah, that is probably the one I would suggest. Is the best for grounding. All right. So we're going to jump over here to the comments and questions. And thanks again, you guys, for being here today. All right. So I have a question. I have two questions. Your website showed some events from the summer. Is that generally the season in which you do events? So we have our traveling workshops that we do that's online that is, old, it's outdated and it hasn't been updated yet because I don't have any more workshop events coming up this year. The only event that I actually have in the books, I think, still in 2024 is a holistic fair in Sioux Falls, South Dakota next weekend. Otherwise, I haven't scheduled anything else for the rest of the year. Um, and we do want to start having events here in the studio. So that is a potential here this fall and winter is that we start doing events here. I'd like to do some events down in Colorado. We potentially still have one next month in October. I'm not sure if we're still doing that one in Colorado or not. I will check in and I'll update our website on upcoming events. Um, Yeah, Steve, with the small healing hands, I really do feel like you know that I would stick with the healing hand too versus trying to get one of those heavier rings. Gosh, these heavier rings, they're tough to wear on the wrists. And to me too, running energy with the healing hands, to me having them in your hand, I just feel like you can run energy. Maybe it's just me personally, but I just feel like you can do more with that field versus having it on the wrist, and doing it that way, which you still can. And maybe it's just the visual and the feeling of having it in the hand, but these really were intended to be in the hand to create those fields. And then too, yeah, Steve, just carrying these in your pocket. That is what so many of us have done, is just carrying these in the back pocket. Um, let's see. How can one practice building energy sensitivity and being confident that they are truly sensing things as opposed to feeling like they're making it up in their head? Very good question, Jeff. When I first started to, see and sense and feel, um, the thing is that so many people, you have readers, healers, psychics, all the people out there that, when they tap into your field and they start giving you a reading, they're only seeing certain potentials, and also everything is filtered. It is their filter as well. And you have to realize that some people have grand filters, and us too, we can have filters that cause us to perceive something not in the way that it truly is. So, to one, ensure that you are seeing, feeling, believing, knowing something more in alignment with the truth, is to always be in the heart space when you're feeling into things. The heart space is also where you go to access your other senses. We have the basic five senses that are connected to this physical suit we are in. But we have, as angelic beings, as soul beings, we have access to so many senses. Some call these angelic senses. These are all the clairs. These are so many things that we don't even know and understand as a human. So, how we access feeling into these fields, let's see, I'm going back to the question again, about sensing things, is to be in the heart space. Because when you are truly in the heart space, you are not being influenced by so many different things that project into your reality. And that is where we do all this clearing work and always be in the heart space, because then um, we have more clarity to what it is that we're perceiving. Um, so, yes, one is going into that sacred space of the heart. Now, um, gosh, and I was trying to think, because there's a lot of exercises that you can do to gain your confidence to, like in the field of dowsing, where you're getting your yes or no questions, and maybe try it, but sitting with a deck of cards and just sitting with it and choosing red or black and getting confident in your knowingness of what the next card is. Being in the heart space, having your deck there, feel into that top card, red, flip it over and see. And, that's one way to gain your confidence in your skills. But, finding another person that you resonate with, it's really tough to find somebody that you can truly trust in their integrity of what, to help you perceive. So you look at a situation or a thing and you see this, and then you go to another person that you trust and say, hey, could you look at this situation or thing and see what they see and see if it is in that same resonance with you. Um, and then two, when something presents to you, it usually presents in a way that it's not like, things don't come up as a block of words saying, okay, this is it, and here's all the extraneous details on what it is. No, it's usually that you present something that presents, for me, how things always present is it's almost like an image and a feeling of something. And then, so like, let's say I am working with a client. When something comes up that they have an issue going on, what usually presents to me is like this other aspect. It looks like them, but they're like either huddled down into a corner, or else they have this big energetic thing on their leg, or whatever it is that they present. And then for me, when I see that, being in the heart space, I then basically God, what's the words I'm looking for? I read into what that field is and receive the essence, the feeling, the kind of the knowingness of what that is. So it's not like things would come directly in words and a list of details. You have to interpret. That's the word I was looking for, is an interpretation of what presents. And the more in your heart space you are, the cleaner your interpretation will be. So anyway, I hope some of that helped with uh, with that concept. But just truly being in the heart space, being with yourself, being still the most often that you can, the more you develop that connection, and the more you develop that connection, the more clarity you get in everything. And so really it truly is about being in the heart space and allowing, do that allowing that we did last week. With that infinite allowing the infinity. I tell you what, when you step into those spaces of allowing, that's really where you gain more true clarity of what it is that's being presented to you. All right, what's the number one tool of the highest potentials for healing? That's really a good question. So the healing hands really are phenomenal, but yet I'd still say that the wisdom wand, to me, is one of the best tools for healing. Um, because the wisdom wand is because dis-ease, things that are not, in imbalance in your in energies causes the dis-ease. Healing is nothing more than release and rebalance. And so often the past few years, the things to release are not necessarily right here, this event that happened 8 years ago or whatever. um, so much of what affects us right here and now is those old lifetimes. And so that's really what the wisdom fields are about, is about getting into those old experiences, the old traumas, the places where you had the old oaths or vows, or, there's just so many different levels and layers of who we are as they begin to come home that affect us. And so the wisdom wand to me is still the number one tool for healing. Um, and I feel this copper wand is going to be pretty amazing, but to me, it's not really getting the big blocks of crap in your energy field. The new wand is more about getting to refining, getting to some more of that refined um, chaos in the undercurrents. But the wisdom wand is, to me, still one of the best tools for healing. Um, let's see. Do both healing hands need to be the exact same size? No, because like in our healing hands webinar, we talked about we can use one ring in just a hand. So you do not need to necessarily have two rings at all to create that third field with the healing hands. Let's see. And then this is a question about just working with the fractions, the cubit measures. So kind of a builder question, but basically, and this, I'm sure you'd all be interested. So basically, we have a cubit measure, which is a full cubit. Um, and then we can use those in fractions. Some of those we can use in third increments, some of them in quarter increments. But with the cubit measures, even if so, you take a cubit measure, let's say it's a harmony measurement, the full cubit harmony, you can cut that in half and create a ring with that. In that ring, half size, it's just a fractal of it. It is still producing the exact same frequency, the exact same field, the exact same power potency. So that's how we work with the qubits, is that we can cut them in fractions. And you can go, I don't know how small you can go on a ring. We've actually made rings that are about the size of a pencil that you can slip around a pencil, because we were making rings to go around crystals to make dowsing tools a long time ago. So, yeah, the ring measurements, you can use those fractions and go as small as you can physically possibly go. Um, so somebody was answering about what's good for healing, stacking a bunch of expansive light bangles and wisdom rings. Yep, that's very true. Yeah, truly, I guess really one of the best tools for healing, truly the best tool that we make for healing is probably the floor plate, the full size floor plate, the $8,000 floor plate. Um, the others are the chambers. We have, we have the different pyramid chambers. We have the sit down chamber that we actually sell as well. I think that was like 20 grand though, or maybe it's 12 grand. I don't remember. But we have all those expensive healing chambers. Those ones are phenomenal. And then getting into something that's more portable and a little more affordable would be the practitioner rings. Practitioner rings are absolutely amazing. One, the field is large enough that you can encompass the whole body. Two, you can actively use it by scanning the body, bringing it over the body, and as you scan energies and you find stuck energy, where the rings just stick, you move it up and down, it clears those energies. So the practitioner rings, for something that is more, affordable than a chamber, would be the most powerful for the healing. Then we come to the Tauruses. The Tauruses, the practitioner rings, depending on really what you're healing, but the Tauruses are a powerful, potent field, a very harmonizing field. The Tauruses are something that we've used. We've seen cancer treatment facilities use these, because not only when you put that Taurus onto the body, not only is it harmonizing the certain space, but of course it is harmonizing the entire field. And of course, just like with the wisdom energetics, it is going back to the original core reason for the dis-ease. Um, so, I mentioned for healing the wisdom wands because that is the most affordable for, anybody to pick up that's serious about their healing. I guess I sometimes, when people ask the questions, I don't think about truly what would be the absolute best, because they are the more expensive things, like the Tauruses, things like that. But truly, if you are in a space to where you are truly serious about your healing, you have the ability to invest. I would invest in a Taurus practitioner rings. And if you're feeling extra spendy, the chambers. But for they are the most effective for doing the healing work. And so the Tauruses are ones that, so many people that have had cancer utilize the Tauruses. So and the Alchemist Halo for healing. Yeah, the Alchemist Halo as a practitioner ring is still a fantastic one. Now, the Alchemist Halo, to me, I it borderlines novelty to me for the price, depending on how you use it, because the Alchemist Halo is nice because you can spread it apart, and when you do, it has a larger space that it is emitting energy from. So when you take that single circle and you spread it into the three, then you slip it underneath of a massage table or your bed or whatever, there's a larger area of that columns of light that come out of it. So having a larger area is a good thing for the Alchemist Halo, but otherwise for the price, and you're using it just as a single ring, the wisdom ring is a lot less expensive, because it is a single ring. So comparing those two, the Alchemist Halo and the wisdom ring, they are the same energy. Um, when you bring all three of the rings on the Alchemist Halo together, but If you are drawn towards that tool, I don't want to dissuade you from that, because that's what we tell everybody, is that what you are drawn to when you're in the heart space, not the description or the name or anything, just the energetics, the essence of that tool, that is always the right tool for you. So just be in the heart space and feel into that Alchemist Halo. Um, and you'll get a sense, but truly the wisdom ring is going to be the same energetic as the halo. And for the same price, a little bit more, you could get a wisdom ring and a grounding ring, or a wisdom ring and a highest potentials ring. So anyway, just kind of throwing that out there, um, to feel into a little bit more. The chamber on your bucket list. Yep. And yeah, looking in the spring, we take the chamber around quite a bit. So maybe the spring will be in a place near you. Um, doesn't the Alchemist Halo have the creation field energetics now? So, I guess it does have that creation field energetics in that Alchemist Halo. So it does have the wisdom and the creation field in it. Yeah, sometimes I don't keep up on the tools when we update them. I really need to add these in the descriptions. But we're getting to a point close anymore where pretty soon all the tools are going to be the same. That's kind of been the goal for years, is one ring to rule them all. One ring that has everything. Um, so yeah, the Alchemist Halo does still, it has that wisdom energetics, but yes, it is also carrying that creation field, because that has been put in there too. So thank you, Steve, for mentioning that, because yes, I did totally forget that we did that. Um, yeah, the Alchemist Halo is still a beautiful, beautiful set of tools. It really is. Um, and they don't resonate with everybody, but I just wanted to share that whole concept of just really just feeling into it. And because it feels like you're really you're really resonating with those Alchemist Halo. So yeah, please do go with that, because um and are they a much stronger version of the wisdom rings, the Alchemist Halo? Well, cool, Steve. I'm glad you're getting that one. So, there is a potency thing that we talk about, that anytime you stack a tensor ring on top of another tensor ring, it increases the potency of the field by about 23%. Now, the potency, as we describe it, is simply how you perceive it on the physical. Energetically, the field is exactly the same from one ring to 10 rings stacked. The field, the potentials in it, the field is the same, but it's just that in this physical plane, the plane of the body, the human, our senses can perceive it more. But if we were in our senses through the heart to hear, to perceive these energies, you would see that one ring is the same as 23 rings. But for the physical perception, the potency, yes, the halo would be more potent. All right. Let's see. I was trying to think if there's anything else here. I think that's all the questions we have for today, unless you guys have some more questions here. Let's see. Yep, no more questions here. So, wisdom rings are no joke, though. Didn't expect them to be that strong, and the way they mesh with the expansive light bangles were quite incredible. Yeah, we're getting ready. I keep talking about that U Wealth Revolution show that we're doing, and that's going to be our package that we're offering through U Wealth Revolution. Is this silver wand. We're not going to sell it on our website till probably around Christmas time, but this silver wand and an expansive light bangle and the wisdom ring that's the trio that we're selling and going to be doing a lot of work around. So that should be a really wonderful show, and we'll definitely let you guys know. It's on October 29th that I'll be speaking, and it's about a 2-hour live session. And we're going to be going over those 3 tools that I talked about, and then you can purchase it through them if you wish, because when you purchase it through them, then you also get like, gosh, what is it? An hour-long seminar with me. Then we have a second package deal too, which I'll talk about more later, which I believe I'm going to be offering up personal sessions with that one. So anyway, we will let you guys know on all those fun things coming up. Awesome. Hey, thanks, Mitch. And thanks, Steve, for being here and asking all the great questions. And you too, Jeff. Hey, Renard. Good to see you, man. I added the expansive light ring to my cosmic sun disk, and holy shift, I had it on my heart and literally started sweating. That's phenomenal. So the expansive light ring to the cosmic sun disk. Yeah, those expansive light bangles, man, they are pretty amazing. All right. Well, wonderful. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything here. Thanks again, you guys, and we will see you next week. I will do a invite video right now for the tool of the week for next week. So look for that one, and be sure to show up for Tuesday if you wish. All right. Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a grand weekend. See you then.